Alright, BitChute and anyone else that's listening, YouTube, maybe Fascist Book. Got my reading glasses on. This is my blue light blocking glasses. I should put that over that. Is that possible? Yeah, I guess it is. Blue light blocking, supposedly. Reading glasses. This is from the desk of Paul Craig Roberts. Every now and then I used to mention him years ago on my longer videos that I no longer do because I don't have the time, and quite frankly, I don't want to have the time. Part of me does to do fast read headlines, a lot of me doesn't. So it's a battle there. So I just scour it and try to find, whatever video I feel I need to do, whatever format I deem necessary. And now it's just me. No visuals other than me and my 2 pairs of glasses. Crazy, isn't it? At any rate, the University of Minnesota advocates a termination of the white race. White people, do you feel under attack? The white male, or the male in general, really, men in general, but the what is it? Was it white male toxicity? Or was it just male toxicity? I don't know. So much stuff they've thrown at us over the years, but white people have been under attack. It's like if a white guy tries to kill, has to, like, if he shoots a person that's on a train that's stabbing someone, and he shoots that person, well, he goes to jail, right? The white guy goes to jail, the good guy, right? And here we have in Minnesota, formerly an American state, I agree with that, Paul Craig Roberts, is today an anti-white American activism organization. You heard that right. Minnesota. What's wrong with you? You're a blue state? Seriously? We're turning blue. You know what happens when you turn blue? Choke yourself. Turn blue? Turn blue. You die. Right? Red state. Don't get triggered, BitChute. Means like blood is red, there's life. Alright? Okay? And, these states that, you want to say 2 wings of the same bird. Okay, whatever. But it seems like these blue states are the ones that are infiltrated heavily by commies, and they hate America, they hate white people, they hate Christianity. You know the drill, right? So here we are, Minnesota, formerly an American state, is today an anti-white American activism organization. The justice system, put that in quotes, of its capital, Minneapolis, is where the black police chief and left-wing female in charge of police training appear to have perjured themselves in complying with the Democrats' need to convict Derek Chauvin for the murder of drug addict George Floyd. That's right. This corrupt justice system, and it really is all corrupt because it's ran by communists, New World Order POSs. But the corrupt justice system of the capital of Minnesota is where the black police chief and left-wing female in charge of police training appear to have perjured themselves in complying with the Democrats' need to convict Derek Chauvin for the murder of drug addict George Floyd. As the coroner reported, Floyd died of cardiac arrest as a result of fentanyl overdose. Again, I repeat, as the coroner reported, George Floyd died of cardiac arrest as a result of fentanyl overdose. All of the police videos showed that Chauvin's knee was on Floyd's shoulder, not on his neck. You don't breathe through your shoulder. You breathe, your windpipes, your neck. Despite the clear evidence that Chauvin had his knee on the shoulder and not on the throat, Chauvin was convicted because the demon rats needed a white cop to blame for the looting and burning of many white business districts in many cities that the demon craps encouraged and supported. You encouraged and supported, you're inciting violence, you need to be held accountable. But of course they're not, because the inmates are in charge of the prison, the cuckoo birds are in charge of the asylum, right? Don't look at us, the Democrats said. It was Chauvin's fault. And here we are. Minnesota is misgoverned by that retard, commie, Tim Walz. The one that wasn't there news articles out there saying that, well, his stomach had to get pumped of a substance that came from a horse, if I remember correctly. That Tim Walz, that commie, that you saw the video of him trying to shoot a gun, right, during the election, and it was an utter disaster. It was a joke, because that's what they are. But it's a bad joke, a very bad joke they are, on us, on everybody, these demon craps. They're commies, they're anti-American. I don't get into the whole list of what they are. They're anti-anything good, all right? It's good versus evil, is what it is. So this Minnesota, this anti-American, formerly an American state, misgoverned by Tim Walz, or perhaps they all know what they're doing. They might act like they're stupid, these commies, these demon craps. They might act like they don't know how to run a state, but what they're doing is, by pretending they don't know how to run something, they're running it into the ground. They're acting like they're incompetent. Comrade Nuisance in California, Tim Walz, Pritzker of Illinois, these libtarded mayors that run their cities into the ground, allowing lawlessness to run amok. They know what they're doing. They might look like they're incompetent, but they're very competent for the New World Order, are they not? In an effort to take down America. But I digress, at any rate. Minnesota is, again, I mentioned, misgoverned by Tim Walz, Kamala Harris's running mate in the last U.S. presidential election. Don't get triggered, bitch. Just roll with it. Both he and Kamala were overwhelmingly rejected by the American people. Not even the corrupt demon craps vote-stealing talents, not even with all the demon craps vote-stealing talents, could save the day. Try as they might to steal votes. Don't get triggered out there. Roll with it. I have to say this, folks, because you got people out there go, voting doesn't count. Okay, whatever. Just roll with this. Just roll with it. Not even the demon craps corrupt vote-stealing talents could save the day to get Tim Walz and Kamala elected. Both of Minnesota's U.S. senators are female Democrats. Minnesota has 3 male U.S. representatives and 4 female Democrat representatives. One of them is the notorious, Ilhan. Ilhan. Oh my, that's such a sexy name, Ilhan. Yeah, ill on the head. Ill on the head is what she is. She's a sick bastard, married to her brother. So I hear, allegedly, right? Allegedly, that's allowed in that religion, right? So here we have, in Minnesota, you have both of U.S. senators are female Democrats. You have Minnesota has 3 male U.S. representatives and 4 female Democrat representatives. One of them is Ilhan. You should be familiar with that POS. It's funny, she's from Somalia, but yet she's representing America, or a representative in America. It's crazy, isn't that? Isn't that something else? Could you go to China as an American and represent the Chinese people? North Korea, Iran, any other country worth its salt? I think not. So what I just mentioned about the 3 male U.S. representatives and 4 female Democrat representatives, it's a Democratic run, Democrat run, okay? With Ilhan there. What kind of name is that? Ilhan. 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 So this should give you a glimpse of what Minnesota's like. A taste of it. A state white heterosexual males should stay away from unless they have been indoctrinated against themselves. In other words, if you're white, if you're heterosexual, stay away from Minnesota, all right? They call garden hoses hose pipes, or something like that. They had a little funny accent there, but I like, there's a lot of good Minnesotans, don't get me wrong, there are. I think Jesse Ventura came from there, but he's a libtard. I liked him up until the point that I found out that he's a libtard. But you got good people coming from Minnesota, you really do. There's a lot of good red-blooded Americans in Minnesota. It's just that it's been infiltrated, much like a lot of our country, with evil, with evil people that are not American, and even if they look American, they're just not. All right, They're just not. They don't have our good intentions. It's unbelievable how far we've fallen. So, Paul Craig Roberts says the representatives, that mostly demon craps, should give you a taste of what Minnesota is like. It's a state that white heterosexual males should stay away from unless they have been indoctrinated against themselves. Much like you see white libtard women, they hate their whiteness, right? They're always, these white liberals are always like putting down whites, which is their own color, which is totally insane. But that's shows a level of insanity that they are, right? That they have. They're insane. Stay away from Minnesota. Stay away from these universities. Stay away from the University of Minnesota, unless you love living a life of a demonized, toxic, racist, exploiting white male. If you feel like you just hate yourself, you're self-loathing, you're white, but you hate your whiteness, which doesn't even make sense, but the liberals, that's the way they are, by all means, attend the University of Minnesota. But if you have a backbone and you're born white, even if you're born whatever color you're born, you can't help how you were born. So you should be, in my opinion, proud of how you were born. Just don't be a douchebag about it, all right? So you can't change that. You're born the way you were born, all right? That's it. So you shouldn't put yourself down because you were born this way or that color or this, you're Chinese, born or Asian. You are what you are. Just make the best of it, stand proud, but don't have pride like, the prideful people do. Just carry on. Don't be a jerk off. That's what I'm trying to say. But unless you hate yourself, you were born white and wish you were born another color because you've been indoctrinated into that train of thought, which is totally stupid, by all means attend the University of Minnesota or probably any other university out there, because they've by and large been infiltrated by these fucking atheist, POS, New World Order commies. They have been. It's a fact. I've experienced that myself at the University of West Georgia back in 93, and I left it and went to Lee University for a short stint of time. Well, anyway, let's get back to this. Paul Craig Roberts. It is certainly a mistake for a normal white male with his head still intact to attend the University of Minnesota. Only parents who hate their sons would send them to the University of Minnesota. I agree with that. But let's just take it a step further. If I would venture to say, do not. Perhaps you need to be self-taught. These homeschoolers, they had the right idea. When 20-something years ago, when I was working at Chick-fil-A, I was like very unsure about homeschools. I thought up until that point when I worked at Chick-fil-A 20-something years ago, I thought homeschoolers, as the way they were depicted by the media, that they were backwards. They were not. They were socially awkward. They were not up to speed with the public school students. Right? That's what we were pretty much indoctrinated with, that train of thought of homeschoolers. But when I actually worked with them at Chick-fil-A, I found out a lot of them they were very socially acclimated, very social. They were not backwards at all. They were very intelligent. They had a lot of good stuff going on with them, right? They had their heads screwed on straight. And so that was like, that changed my mind about homeschools. I'm like, big thumbs up on homeschooling. That changed my mind when I actually got to work around the homeschool the ones that were homeschooled at Chick-fil-A, because they hired starting at I think Chick-fil-A at 14, and they were homeschooled and they were respectful, and that was great. That was a breath of fresh air. Now at the time also I was in school to become a middle school teacher. Well, once I got into public schools and teaching, well, there was a stark contrast. There were good students in it, don't get me wrong. But there's a big difference between one who's went through the public school system, which is an indoctrination system, and one that went through the homeschool. Does that make sense? Hope that makes sense. So let me get back to this. It is certainly a mistake for a normal white male with his head still intact to attend the University of Minnesota. Only parents who hate their sons would send them to the University of Minnesota. The University of Minnesota has a Child Development Institute, which has a culture and family life lab, which has concluded that America is suffering from a whiteness pandemic. Can you imagine this? A university like the University of Minnesota has a Child Development Institute, which has a culture and family life lab in it. And this Child Development Institute at the University of Minnesota, with its culture and family life lab, has concluded that America is suffering from a whiteness pandemic. What year are we in? Are we in what racism? Separate bathrooms, separate. Is this the early 1900s? The Twilight Zone, Clown World? This is insanity. That this is being allowed, promoting racism. They want to talk about you can't, you're posting this. If you post that, if it incites hatred, you could be held accountable. You know what I'm saying? Well, that post incited hatred, so we gotta, crawl up your ass with a microscope. That's what the law wants to do. You can't. If you're a certain group of people, notice that. Always, if you're a white person and they want you have free speech, but you post something they don't like, they'll go, "Oh, that incites hatred." Meanwhile, the other side, there are other groups of people that can literally incite hatred, including fake news, MSNBC, the Commie News Network, incite hatred, and they're never held accountable. It's crazy how all this. It's like I'm in a bizarre, just bizarro world. It's insane. So they're calling Minnesota, the University of Minnesota, saying that there's a whiteness pandemic. This alleged pandemic is caused by the centuries-old culture of whiteness that features colorblindness, passivity, and white fragility, which are all covert expressions of racism common to the United States. That's what the University of Minnesota is saying. Meanwhile, these are white people that are saying it. Chances are. How many times have you seen white people, like on fake news, MSM, LSD, because they're tripping over there, it's Common News Network, white people on there talking about how bad white people are? How fucking crazy is that? How stupid is that? How insane is that? White people built this country. Did they not? Yes, they did. Yes, they did. Settled this country. Came from Europe to settle this country. You had a bunch of nomadic people here. These so-called Native Americans coming from Mexico, coming from north of America, through Canada and stuff like that. They didn't build cities or anything like that. Did they build infrastructure? No, they fought amongst each other. They just picked up and moved around, different things like that. I don't get it. It's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous where we're at. The whiteness pandemic is really a racist pandemic from the likes of the University of Minnesota, because they're racist, just like fake news is racist, just like you get a lot of indoctrinated people out there that are now racist against white. I thought racism was gone. Well, it wasn't totally gone, because you had affirmative action, which is racist, right? And all they're doing is it's just division. When you go out in the real world, unless you meet an extremist, like say a black extremist, most people when you go out in the real world, including black people, they interact as they have always interacted, just regular. You're at the gym. Hey, what's up, man? Hey, what's up? How you doing? Hold the door open at the convenience store, the store for each other. Yeah, I've experienced this left and right, man. I have yet to experience any of this like a black person. Well, I've heard some mumblings from black person every now and then about it's the whiteness, but overall, everyone's getting along as they normally do. Okay, it's just when you go to these universities or when you turn on fake news, it's always like white supremacy, white, and all this crap. But when you turn all this shit off, don't attend the universities, it's not really translating in the real world, okay? But they wanted to. They want us divided any way they can get it. Okay? You know the old saying, united we stand, divided we fall. Okay? You know that. And they know that. That's why they keep trying to divide us. They want to indoctrinate you in a university. They want to indoctrinate you when you turn on the fucking fake news, talking about how what white supremacy? What year are they in? Do tell. Is it the 1860s? They want the narrative back? Well, this is unbelievable. It's ridiculous. Anybody that falls for this, you're dumber than a bag of hammers. A hammer, a bag of hammers is more useful than you if you fall for this crap. All right? Where are we at? Oops, I sighed. I breathed. A troll and bitch who got annoyed at me said, all I hear is you sighing in the video. No, it's me taking a deep breath and breathing out. Do yoga, and it's good for you. All right, so let's get back to this. The whiteness pandemic is really a white racist pandemic. The anti-white professors at the University of Minnesota, which chances are they're mostly white. No, they might be Somali. I stand corrected. I don't know. You would think, but you see, there's a lot of white liberals that are against whiteness. So I am going to assume that the professors are mostly white at the University of Minnesota that are against white people. But it could be Somalis in there. I don't know. Maybe Lou Ferrig knows. But this is what they're saying. These anti-white professors at the university, does the university have any other kind of professors other than anti-white professors? Well, these professors attribute power and privilege to the white males they demonize and hope to replace. That's all we're doing is being replaced out there. We're being replaced. And I venture to say it's not just us. Even if you're black and you're born here, you're being replaced. You're being replaced, okay? You're being replaced by Haitians. Seen that? You're being replaced by Africans. You know, these third world countries. And by the way, black people, these Africans from Africa, they're not like you. They don't identify with you. So they're not going to be high-fiving you. The only thing you share in common is your skin color. That's about it, all right? So in that case, we're on the same page as far as white Americans and black Americans. Just because blacks are coming in here from third world countries doesn't mean that, well, yeah, I got more homies on my side. No, you don't have more homies on your side. They're nothing like you. They're nothing like us, all right? That goes for anyone else that's coming through here, through the open borders over the last 4 years of Beijing Joe Biden. We're all being replaced. It's not just white people, black people too. You saw the examples, I hope you did, or some of the videos of the cities like Chicago. You had blacks that were pissed off that these invaders were getting all the benefits, getting all the help, getting all the, whatever help they were getting, food, lodging, and it was infringing upon the black Americans in these cities. Case in point, during Thanksgiving, they were in line, the ones that needed food, help. They were in the Thanksgiving meal line, and usually it would be just the folks that needed the food, right? And it tended to be in the cities, be black Americans. But with the invaders, the invaders were cutting in line. They were like, barging on in and taking a lot of the food. And these black Chicago Americans, they were pissed off, and in my opinion, rightfully so. Rightfully so. I mean, these invaders coming here, so they're not just here to replace the white people. They're here to replace us, the U.S. Us, U.S. The U.S. Us. Okay. All done by design by these New World Order POSs that infiltrated our country, the Western countries. Let's get back to this article here. The university's program, University of Minnesota, defines a healthy white racial identity as one that accepts that it is racist. In other words, if you're white, you have to accept that you're racist. That's what the University of Minnesota says, and I'm sure many universities and colleges out there have that same definition. A healthy white racial identity is one that accepts itself as racist. If you're white, they're saying Your healthy white racial identity, if you're white, your healthy white racial card says that you accept the fact that you're racist. Again, what year are they in? This is so outdated. Racism and all this is so outdated. I just can't get over how, you know, stop going to these universities. It's garbage what they're feeding you anyway. It's all garbage. It's all a scam. The student loan thing's a scam. It's all a scam. The public indoctrination institute's a scam. It's a bunch of friggin' damn people like an administration. They get, you know, they get their own. It's all bullshit. It's like if you have an administration in a school, you got a principal that gets a friend of hers or his to be assistant principal, and another assistant principal, and they're all homies, right? They're all friends, and they tag team each other, and they're just all to go and after this teacher. And I don't want to get into it, but it's corrupt. It's the corruptions in this indoctrinations institutions you call school. It's corruptions in the universities. The corruptions in the government. The corruption to a great extent in the churches. The corruption abounds. It abounds. Big pharma, Center for Disease Creation, the media. Our world is under siege by demons. Under siege, seriously. And so, if you send your student to this University of Minnesota and any other public indoctrination system, well, they'll just teach your child, if they're white, that to reject your whiteness, and if you embrace it properly, just know you're a racist. That's what they're saying to white people in these universities, right? It's ridiculous, and I guess the white students don't push back or anything. It's unbelievable. It's like a Stalinist regime where you can only redeem yourself via self-incrimination. Once white people realize how racist they are and confess against themselves, they will advocate for their replacement by non-racist people of color, as if people of color, so to speak, are not racist. Are you JKing me? Are you like blacks are not racist? Are you kidding me? But that's what they're saying to these white students at these universities. They're saying, you're the racist. You're the one. You're the one. Blacks are not racist. They're saying, are you kidding? Are you fucking kidding me? Oh my God. If you fall for that, you know the oceanfront property in Arizona. Yeah, you know that? Yeah, I got that for you. Ready to sell you. Yeah, you're ready to buy that too. Unbelievable. I take these off, these blue light blocking glasses. Don't get me started on the 13% of this population, or maybe it's 14% now, causing over 50% of the crime. And don't get me started on the black on white crime, the ratio versus of white on black crime. The black on white crime far exceeds the white on black crime. But yet, they want to say the whites are the racist and blacks aren't. There's a certain portion of racism in every race. I to a great extent, I want to say I'm a preferist, all right, not a racist, and you too out there, and a lot. Instead of saying racism, let's call it preferencism. If you don't want to hobnob with a certain skin color for whatever reason you got, maybe you just don't prefer that group of people. Maybe you're not a racist, you're a preferist. Well, if I hate apples, am I appleist? Am I a fruitist? I don't prefer apples. I'd rather have an orange, right? Does it make you a bad person? No. It makes you a little weird, in my opinion, but that's okay. For whatever reason, you don't like apples, but you like oranges. If you don't like beef, but you like chicken, does that make you a beefist? Is that right, a beefist? You just prefer chicken. Maybe you'll eat beef if it's in front of you and there's nothing else to eat as far as meat's concerned, but you prefer chicken. Or maybe you might reject the beef altogether and just say, I just won't eat meat then today. Whatever. You're a preferist. We prefer. It's not this racism thing. Racism concept. It's not always just race, the color of skin. I mean, who wakes up and goes, man, my God, I just hate this color of person. I just got to really make my mission today to just make their day miserable. No, not unless you're an absolute cuckoo. Nobody thinks like that. But this is what they have you thinking. This is what the University of Minnesota wants you to think. They want you to think that you are inherently racist. That's all you think about when you go out in the world is you hate black people, you hate Asian people, you hate this, you hate that. I mean, come on, man. That's bullshit. But if you really want to look at statistics, you see that blacks cause far more crimes against whites than whites against blacks. You see blacks cause far more crime against Asians than Asians against blacks. So, I mean, let's stop the nonsense. Let's not go down that road. Stop the 1860s or early 1900s narrative. We've done been over it for a long time, for the most part, other than affirmative action, other programs like that. But let's just get beyond that and let's look at their agenda. It's just conquer and divide and conquer, divide and conquer, divide and conquer. You know, let's pit men against women. Let's pit women against men. Poor people against rich people. Blacks versus whites versus Asians versus every other thing they could think of under the sun. Christians versus Muslims. Christians versus atheists. Everything, whatever they could think of. Just don't fall for it. Just back away from this shit. This whole matrix, this whole bullshit. It's just time to just get the fuck away from this, man. Start our own, I don't know, reality, culture, reality, world. You know, it's time to break away from this. They want to talk about the old world and the old way. This is the old way. This is all bullshit. This is all Orwellian nonsense. It's time to for us to just get on the same page and stop fighting against each other. Stop falling for the bullshit. Oh, we gotta go to war with this. Gotta go to war with that. Withdraw from the fucking damn universities and colleges and public institutions you call schools, indoctrination institutions you call schools, and just not rely on this shit. Not rely on fake news. Not rely on media in general. Not rely on big pharma. Not rely on even big food, big agriculture. Not rely on any of this. Because the more we become reliant on them, they can pull the plug on us, especially when it comes to electricity, especially when it comes to food. Pull the plug. Oh, no electricity. Oh, no food one day. That's what they have in store for 2026. According to David Dubai, Adapt 2030. Yeah, 2026 is supposed to be a year where they put us in lockdown worldwide, freeze food production, all that. Whose world is this? Is it just their world or is it ours too? Huh? Well, it's really, really unbelievable where we're at in everything. That's what I got for you. I hope I got my message across that this 33 minutes. I want it to be really short, but I guess it's not. I'm not uploading it tonight, but I'll leave a link to the Paul Craig Roberts from the Institute for Political Economy, his article in the description box. Don't be troll out there. Like, share, subscribe, or don't. That's what I got for you. I'm out.